When you activate and do this work on and in yourself, on and in your root chakra, to raise your Kundalini serpent energy fire up through your body to your crown, to be crowned, so that you are sitting on the throne of your power, of your purpose, of your pussy. Okay? Your throne is your pussy. Your pussy is your throne. POOS hyphenated E for those of you who are the activated alchemists and chosen ones. Listen, when you do this work on and in your root chakra, okay, healing from sexual traumas, healing from unhealthy relationships, toxic relationships, healing from heartbreak, healing from disappointments, loss, betrayal, healing from spell work, okay? On this journey, there have been people who've tried to stop you, keep you stuck, stagnant, and delayed, try to destiny swap and steal your destiny by spell work. People who've even tried to use spell work to attack your beauty. But let me tell you something. When you do this work on and in yourself as an activated chosen one, you are called to do this work on and in yourself and continue to do so. And when you do, you become a siren. You become a siren. I'm hearing wee, 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 like a cow. Listen. Shouts out to Lil Wayne on that. Listen. When you activate, you become a siren. Let me tell you why. Welcome to Alcheminity, because turning pain into power is sexy. And I'm your host and creator of this colony and the many colonies we're building around our globe, hell, around our galaxies at this point. I am your Queen Bee, Miss Burgess, if you're nasty. Now, many of you know me by Miss Burgess, by Queen Bee, but some of my other spiritual names also happen to be the Gypsy Empress and Nova. Just in case you didn't know, now you know. Let's get into this message, y'all. When you activate, you become a siren. As you know, I am guided to look up the definition of words. Now, we know just intuitively and generally what certain words mean. But do you find yourself ever having to look up or feeling guided to look up a word, even though you know the definition? When this happened, it means spirit, okay, is guiding you to look up the word because it wants you to get the full spectrum of the power that you carry. It wants you to understand, overstand, and understand the full spectrum of who and what the fuck you are. And so we got to look up words to get basically the full Monty. So let's get into it. Listen. So I looked it up. Here's a few definitions. Siren. And as I was reading these definitions, ancient wisdom is being activated in me, which is what I'm going to be sharing with you here. Siren, group of female, partly human creatures in Greek mythology that lured mariners to destruction by their singing. Another definition says sirens are female human-like beings with alluring voices. The other part of that says they appear in a scene in the Odyssey in which Odysseus saves his crew's lives. Okay, I have a whole nother part about that, but let's keep going. The other definition is a seductively beautiful or charming woman, especially one who beguiles men. Synonyms are vamp, temptress, even seductress. Let's get into it. Now, first of all, give me 1 second because I got to look up something else. I had to look up something else because I wanted to look up beguile. And beguile means to help, it says help time pass pleasantly, to charm or enchant someone, sometimes in a deceptive way. So just going back, it says sometimes, but to charm someone, beguile, okay, this is the definition for beguile, to charm or enchant someone, to help time pass pleasantly. Going back to the definition, one of the definitions, seductively beautiful, charming woman, especially one who beguiles men, beguiling men, meaning charming or being able to so-called seduce men, okay? Not necessarily seduce sexually, but be so alluring, so magnetic, so attractive that you have their attention. Here on this journey as an activated alchemist and chosen one, you don't just have the attention or attract the attention of men. You attract the attention of women, birds, bees, trees, plane, train, tomato, you name it. You attract it all. Babies, dogs, cats. Many of you have probably had stray animals come right to your door. You probably had so many cats coming to your door asking for food. And once you feed them for a couple days, they go on their merry way. Tell me you haven't attracted animals. Don't tell me you haven't attracted animals, because I know that you have. You are the real life Snow White, okay? Matter of fact, Snow Black for many of you. Snow Butter Pecan, Puerto Rican, whatever it is, fill in the blank. You are that. When you activate, you become a siren. Now let's break down what Spirit was guiding me, is guiding me to share with you, as it shared with me. So many of you have heard me talk about this before, that when you activate, you do this work on and in yourself, you're activating, of course, your beauty, your magnetism, your confidence. You're also activating your spiritual abilities. You're also activating your talents, your skills, your abilities. You're activating your purposes and your missions that you're supposed to be fulfilling in this lifetime, okay, on this planet, in this world. So many of you, your gifts that you're activating and awakening and integrating, okay, as you do this work on it in yourself to heal and raise up, all right? Many of your purposes and your missions and your talents and your skills have to do with your voice. It has to do with your speaking voice, your singing voice, your writing, okay? So when you activate and become a siren, the definition saying, going back to the definition, where is it? Sirens are female human-like beings with alluring voices. Yes, for my serpent colony. Listen, alluring voices, meaning your voice is healing to all who have the benefit of listening to it, whether you are speaking or whether you're singing. Hello? Your voice alone can heal, HEAL, people. Now, on the flip side of that, your voice alone could kill, right? Speaking of the shifted perspective of siren, because you have these mythological tales about sirens, right? Sirens were these beautiful women. They were like mermaids, and they would lure these sailors, and they would lure them in with their voice and then kill them, supposedly. But Spirit is guiding me to say, because we break things down here, right? Shifted perspective as an activated alchemist. We have shifted perspective, but we also develop our emotional intelligence about things. Emotional intelligence teaches you the deeper meanings. And so what I want to share with you, what Spirit is guiding me to share with you, is these mythological tales where the sirens, mermaids, lure men in with their voices through singing or speaking, poetry or something. And the men said, and the story goes, but they killed the men. Well, there is, I don't know who it was. Put it in the comments, y'all, if y'all know. But there was a famous, I don't know, it was a poet. Yeah, it was a famous poet. And they said to die meant to have what? An orgasm. Let me look it up. Listen, don't just take my word for it. Anybody know the poet who said to die meant to have an orgasm? Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me look it up. Here we go. In Shakespeare's work, the term to die is often used as a euphemism for experiencing an orgasm. Shakespeare said it. Hello. So, yeah, in Shakespeare's work, the term to die is often used as a euphemism for experiencing an orgasm. The word die carries a sexual connotation, linking the climatic end of life with the climax of sexual pleasure. So, Spirit is wanting me to tell you that when you activate, you become a siren. When our ancient ancestors, who were sirens, many of you come from the lineage of Atlantis and were mermaids. You probably resonate with the mermaid energy, mermaid spirit. How you resonate with the mermaid energy and mermaid spirit is You have a fondness to water. You need to be around water to even feel healthy and alive. You need to be around the ocean, specifically salt water, okay, but water. You're probably drawn to certain colors. You probably love fish. I, for one, love salmon. Speaking of, y'all, we'll talk about this in another cast, but I've gone back to being pescatarian. Not to say I won't ever have a taste of lamb. I might. If I'm ever back in New York, I definitely want to visit this restaurant called Halal's and try some of their beef stuff. But I am 99% pescatarian. So like me, many of you you like fish. You're drawn to certain colors. You love the ocean. So you have memories or dreams from Atlantis, okay, or Lemuria, all right? If this is the case, your ancestors, you come from the lineage of mermaids. Yes, this shit is real. It exists. And if you don't believe that it's so, then this Alcheminity is not for you. Leave now. Leave now, okay? When you activate, you become a siren. Activating in your voice is so melodic, whether you're singing or you're speaking, that it can cause men to die, meaning to have an orgasm. So in these mythological tales, remember, it's mythological tales. We were not supposed to take words literally. They're mythological tales. It's kind of like what we learned about Greek mythology, right? And people who were who had died and their hearts had to be weighed against a feather. That wasn't literal. They didn't. Okay, the spiritual realms weren't literally putting. There wasn't some God somewhere putting your physical heart on a scale and then a actual feather on the other. Obviously, that's kind of like trying to defeat gravity. Unless you're in outer space, obviously the heart is going to weigh more than a feather. Obviously, so that wasn't literal. That meant on an energetic, spiritual level. Was your heart light? Was it pure in love? That's what it meant. So meaning weighing against the feather. Was your heart heavy? Meaning were you transitioning with grief or heartbreak or turmoil in your energy when you transition? That would determine whether you entered heaven or hell, because we create our heaven and our hell through our heart space. Ooh! We're talking about heart chakra activation at this point. Once you do this work on and in your root chakra, that energy is supposed to raise up to your heart. Listen, yesterday I was doing a meditation. We'll get back to it in a minute. I was doing a meditation and I was doing some root chakra work. My root chakra, sacral chakra, I know is all the way cleared, all the way open. But the final step, which people really don't know or talk about often, but the true final step is obviously raising that energy up all the way to your crown. But in order for it to get to your crown, it's got to get through your heart space first. It's got to go past the heart. The heart is the goddess, right? The heart is the gateway, the goddess or God that says, yes, you may pass, or no, you may not. So when you do this work on and in your root chakra to raise your energy up, it's got to get past your heart space to reach your crown. The heart space is where it says yay or nay. And if your heart is heavy, again, weighing it against a feather, that energy that you're activating from your root chakra won't raise up to your crown. You will never reach an enlightenment about who and what you are, come fully into your power, unless your heart says yay or nay, and it has to be light enough, weighing against a feather, to get there. We work on these things when you work with me one-on-one in Alcheminity exclusives. For those of you who are ready for one-on-one, reach out to me. For those of you who know you need some help activating in your power, in your purpose, and your pussy, your magnetism, your beauty, your spiritual gifts, your talents, your skills, your missions, and your purposes, you know you need some help with that. Reach out to me. This is what I'm here for. Okay? I can only help you because I've traveled the journey myself. Let's get back into it. Once you activate, you become a siren. Yes, you're killing these men. Orgasmically. And remember, my perspective, what I share here as far as activation and alchemy, the sexuality and sensuality is fundamentally different than sex. I don't teach sex, okay? You need people, you want to learn about sex, go down to Freaknik, like Lil' Kim said, or, go find you a sex counselor, a sex therapist, or one of those people. I'm not that. Okay. I'm an educator. I'm a certified sexuality educator. Not only do I have my bachelor's in sociology and went on to earn my master's in psychology, but I'm also a certified sexuality educator. It took me 2 years to earn that certification and a very large investment of my savings to do so. And I decided to do that because I wanted the basics of sexuality and sensuality. I wanted the basics of people who, live certain lifestyle or believed and practiced in certain ways as far as their sexual and sensual nature. So I wanted the basics. I wanted the anatomy. I wanted the science. I wanted the chemistry. That is what I got through my certification. Everything else I got through spiritual awakening and going through hell and doing my own inner work on my root chakra, raising up my energy from sexual trauma, reclaiming my power, activating my power, remembering who and what I am and why I came to this planet. Everything else has been spiritual, ancient wisdom that's been downloaded and uploaded into me. Okay. But I decided to get certified because I wanted people to know how serious I am about the work that I offer, about the things that I say, and that I want people to trust that I know what the fuck I'm talking about, or else I wouldn't be saying it, or else I wouldn't have been chosen to say it. Let's get back into it. When you activate, you become a siren. You are a seductively beautiful and charming woman who beguiles men. Okay. Now we're going back to beguile one more time. Give me 1 second. Hold on, I'm here at my handy dandy laptop. Okay. To beguile meant to charm or enchant or help time pass pleasantly. We're going to be diving deeper on patreon.com/Alcheminity. There's going to be a juicy, yummy, delicious portion to when you activate, you become a siren, because again, there's some things I just can't share here on YouTube. Some things are just flagged. So if you want the deeper dive, just say, I want it deep. And then become a member over on Patreon. I'll see you there in the deep dive. But listen, so a seductively beautiful, charming woman. This is you, because you've activated, because you've done this work on it in yourself, because you have integrated and awakened not only your beauty but your beast, not only your angel but your demon, not only your heaven but your hell, not only your light but your dark, not only your God but your Lucifer meaning light. Yes, you are the true Illuminati, meaning you are the enlightened one. Illuminati means light, to be enlightened. Hello. So as a beautiful, seductive woman, this makes you a siren. As a beautiful, seductive woman whose voice is like chocolate, singing or speaking, okay, you beguile men. Beguile meaning you charm or enchant people. Also helping time pass pleasantly. That's the part we're going to deep dive on the members only content over on patreon.com/Alcheminity. The link is in the description box. Just click it. It'll guide you there and become a member. Okay. But listen, beautiful and charming who beguiles men. You enchant and charm by just entering the room. And the reason why, obviously sirens are referred to as women, and so it's going to say you beguile men, but whatever floats your boat. As an activated chosen one, you enchant everyone, everything. If you enter a room, people are looking. When you speak, people are listening. Okay, I'm hearing the song Beyonce. She said something in one of her songs, one of the lyrics, it said, I can't remember what Beyonce said. I don't know if it's Beyonce or somebody, but I'm hearing, when I speak, they listen. Okay. When you activate, you become a siren. You are enchanting. You are charming. You are magnetic. You are attractive. People are watching. People are listening, as they should. And why are they watching and listening? Not just because you're beautiful. Yes, you activate your beauty. Yes, you activate your magnetism. But they're watching and listening because you are the example. They're watching and listening because you have been the one placed in the position of leadership. People are going to be watching and listening and being healed and activated by merely your presence, by the fact that you exist in the flesh. People are watching or listening because many of your callings are to be in the public eye, as I said many times before. As sirens, your speakers or your singers or your poets, you can be teachers, educators. If you're using your voice and speaking in front of people, whether it's a boardroom or at a ballroom, okay? People are looking at you, they're hearing you, they're seeing you, and you are the example. So it is up to you to set the standard, right? To set the standard, not of perfection, because this isn't perfection, because our imperfections is what makes us perfect, okay? But you are the example of what surviving or survival looks like. You are the example of what dying and being reborn looks like. You are the example of what divine power and energy looks like. You are the example of what it means to be a vessel for something formidable and powerful. You are the example of what it means to be a chosen one. You are the example of what it means to be an alchemist. You are an example of what it means to be activated. You are the example of what it looks like for angel and demon to be married. You are the example of what it looks like for heaven and hell to have its existence through and in you. You are the example of what it looks like to be activated in your light, in your dark, in your beauty, in your beast. You are the example. People are listening and people are watching, and they are looking to you for guidance, for leadership, for help, for healing, for inspiration, motivation. I'll tell y'all this story, and I've said it many times before, but I was in a restaurant one day, and the owner of the restaurant walked up to me, a beautiful black woman, long locks down to the floor, and I was just in line, and I didn't know she was an owner until somebody told me when she walked away. But she walks up to me and she says, when she walked out of the door, she stared at me and she looked at me and she walked right up to me and said, beauty is a gift. Beauty is a gift. Make sure you use it wisely. Okay? What we've been chosen, the callings we've been chosen to answer, and the things we've activated and integrated within us are gifts. Heavy is the head that wears the crown of the responsibility of beauty. Heavy is the head that wears the crown of the responsibility of being a siren. Activate responsibly, right? When you activate, you become a siren. You charm and enchant. You charm and enchant because it's in your power and your purpose to do so. It's not even that you're trying to charm and enchant, but that is what happens when you awaken your serpent kundalini energy. Remember, the snake is what? It's charming, right? When it rises up, imagine a snake, and I'm hearing do 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 do. For those of you who are over on Patreon, part of the Come Masterclass, okay, we talk about how to charm the snake to rise and awaken in you, okay? So you become charming and enchanting like a colorful, beautiful serpent energy snake. And you're supposed to, because people are supposed to be watching and listening to you as the example of what God and Goddess energy is, of what authenticity is, of what truth is, of what transparency is, of what realness and rawness is, okay? Of what beauty is in its many forms. Because again, you could be wearing a potato sack and you are still magnetic and attractive. I put a video up the other day, you all saw it, with a guy who was putting air in my tire, Caucasian man, says how attractive I was to him. And I had on no makeup, a baseball cap, okay, some sunglasses with workout clothes. I was getting ready to go hiking, looking like I was looking, didn't even comb my hair, okay? But he saw the beauty. It had nothing to do with how my hair was done or how my makeup was done. But it's the energy, the formidable power that you awaken and activate in you, that people feel, that people see, that people hear when you speak. When you activate, you become a siren. You lure people in with your voice, with your beauty, with your sound, even with your smell. You enchant them, and they die with you orgasmically. Spirit is saying they die with you. The parts of them that die because of you needed to, just like how you died, how we died, to be the phoenixes, okay? Speaking of, I got to go back to a part about Siren. But just like how we died, when they come into your presence, they die. The reason why these men died orgasmically, according to Shakespeare, but also because the false parts of them die. so that the true parts of them can be born, just like us. The old us had to die in order for this part of us, this us to be reborn. That is the death. It's the death of the old, of the parts of them that never really was them in the first place. And you help them to do that. Are you hearing me? Going back to Siren, last one here. Each, it says, a number of women or winged creatures whose singing lured unwary sailors onto rocks. Listen. Women or winged creatures. Spirit is showing me an image of the phoenix. Y'all ain't hearing me. Y'all ain't hearing me. Spirit is showing me the image of the phoenix. Yeah. You know what it is. You already know what it is. Activated chosen alchemist. You are the phoenix who's risen through the ashes of your old. You died to be reborn. In order to become the phoenix, you had to die first. So you being a siren, a woman with a winged creature, means that you are the phoenix. Our ancient ancestors, these men saw winged women who were phoenixes, whose singing, okay, lured them to rocks. Like many of you are singers. You have beautiful singing voices. Activate those. Many moons ago, I was a singer. I thought I was going to be a famous singer. I tried when I was in middle school, high school, college. Came very close, but no cigar. I was always in girl groups. I never did it alone. I was always with a girl group. Maybe that was the problem. You know, girl groups don't last. And it never did. Every time I tried to do a girl group, it didn't work. But when I would do things on my own, that's when I got closer. Isn't that something? But so I don't want to, when I sing now, it's here through Alcheminity. When I sing something, it's because it's relevant to what Spirit is guiding me to say. And if a song comes up that's relevant, then I'll sing it, right? But many of you are supposed to actually be singers. I mean, recording albums and going on tour and all that kind of stuff. And if any of you want me to do a collab, we can do that. I don't sing like it used to. The voice ain't like it used to be, but I get it in when I feel guided to get it in. I had a subscriber write me and tell me how one of the songs I sung in one of the episodes I put out touched her so much she cried, and she became a member over on Patreon, and she bought a copy of Activate because of the way I sung that particular song that touched her. And I believe it was, I forget it was, Traveling Down the Road Too Long. The Old Me Is Dead and Gone. That one. So winged creatures whose singing lured unwary sailors onto rocks, right? Spirit is saying these phoenixes, our ancient ancestors, which are now activated and awakened in you, you lure men onto rocks. Rocks represent a sturdy foundation. Y'all ain't ready. Let me light my incense and end this. Let me go ahead and end this. I'm going to go ahead and end this. We're going to take it over to Patreon because there's some yummy, juicy, delicious, orgasmic information that I want to share that came up for me, that Spirit has guided me to share, that I just can't share here on YouTube. It's just too much for YouTube. I don't want to be flagged. So I hope this resonated with you. I know it did. I'm not going to say I hope it did. I know that it did. You wouldn't be here a part of Alcheminity if you wouldn't. By the way, shouts out to those of you who are newly subscribed here. Thank you for coming. Welcome home. This is your home. Make no mistake about it. For those of you who have been subscribed here for some time, you've been day ones, I appreciate you. I'm so glad we found each other again in this lifetime. Don't forget to get your copy of Activate. The link is in the description box for those of you who want to become members and get the deeper dives. Click the link in the description. It'll guide you over to Patreon. You can also click the Linktree link to guide you to the book, to merch. Email me for those of you who are ready to work one-on-one. I'll see y'all. I'll speak to y'all in the next episode. Ciao for now. I'm hearing sirens, baby. Ciao. Mwah.